But let's start at Stamford Bridge because, all right, the champions visit. It's Manchester City, and I think there's legit questions. There's legit questions around City, right? There were legit fears that, all right, De Bruyne expiring contract, Pep expiring contract,
Alvarez moving on.
Alvarez moves on, Rodri, the 115 charges. Is this a year where, you know, the gang says, all right, we've had a good run? But no, it looked to me, Don, like nothing changed. Kovacic did his Rodri impression.
Man of the match.
And they look good, despite the fact, by the way, that it wasn't just Rodri wasn't there. Walker was on the bench. Foden was on the bench.
Yeah.
There's just a gulf there, right?
I think the feeling is, Gab, I think we're all probably looking at the outside, and we're all probably looking at Arsenal thinking they're getting stronger and Arsenal are making ground because
they've added one guy.
Yeah, but I mean,
very handsome Italian guy.
Very handsome.
One guy.
But yeah, this summer, but they've been improving all the time.
Right,
Declan Rice is second year, I know. So like they're getting stronger every year. So City are still the team to beat. So I think our eyes are probably going away from Man City, think, well, Arsenal are getting a little bit closer. At one point last season, Liverpool were 5 points clear. So I've got no idea why people haven't got Liverpool in the conversation. But I would be stunned if Pep goes into this season with just Haaland as a recognised number 9.
Right.
Once Julian Alvarez moves on and that is deal completed, I'd be stunned if it's just Haaland playing every domestic game, every cup game, every Champions League game. He will go and buy another 9. And by the way, the bench yesterday, as you said, Foden, Ake, Grealish, Stones, Walker. I mean, it's Man City's B team on the first game of the season.
We can get into that later, but I think we agree. City were impressive. On the Chelsea end, there are a few surprises. Raheem Sterling, not included, not happy about it.
Rightly so, by the way. Rightly so.
We'll break down. He says he's asking for clarity. He's got 3 years left.
Do you want me to translate all this for you or later?
Translate.
I've got 3 years left on my deal. I'm on £250,000 a week. That's 39 million. Pay me my 39 million and I will leave. But I love the fans and I love the club. And I'm going to say all the right things. But translated, that's what he's saying to the Chelsea board. You owe me close to 40 million. If you pay me, I'll move.
All right. There's a whole ownership, approach, squad management side to Chelsea, which we're going to get into later. I think there's a lot to break down. In terms of what we saw on the pitch, the lineup he put out, I think there were only 2 players over the age of 23, Nkunku and Robert Sanchez, who was poor again. I look at this and say, all right, this is a work in progress, right? For Chelsea to have a player to compete, they need to get the value add of what Maresca can bring. We didn't see that because this is a group of guys who've just really come together. But I wanted to ask you just tactically, what did you make of Palmer and Nkunku, neither of whom really is a natural winger, kind of shoehorned in the lineup on the wide areas? Obviously, you want them to play because they're good, but they're not wingers.
No. I liken it a little bit to the scenario at Nottingham Forest when they were bringing players in left, right and centre. And to be fair, Chelsea are bringing a better calibre of player. They're also spending a lot of money. But it's very difficult when you've got 3 squads.
Okay, sorry. It's not what I asked.
What are you asking?
Palmer and Nkunku in wide areas.
Yeah.
Coming inside.
But I mean,
is that
Nkunku,
a solution this year?
No, I'd play Nkunku through the middle. I think he's better than Nicholas Jackson. I think he's better than any forward that they've got, as in number 9. Palmer, I think, is a player that predominantly plays off the right-hand side. So he is a sort of inverted winger, like a sort of Bernardo Silva, Phil Foden type. So he's a maverick where you can more or less just put him on the team sheet. You ask him to do a job. But if you really want to get the best out of him, he's a number 10. But you just look at the shambles that's Chelsea and you go, how are you going to form relationships when you've got a squad of 42 players?
Right, I knew you're going back to this. We're going to beat them later.
I know, but
Chelsea about this.
But it's true. That's what transforms onto the pitch.
Positives.
And it's only match day 1, by the way. I'm very loathed always to criticise any team on a win on a loss on match day 1 because the legs are still heavy, even though fans will think, Don, you're talking rubbish. It's match day 1. They're not sharp.
These are very wise words. It is match day 1. Let's not get carried away with conclusions. Some positives too for Chelsea, Lavia and Colwell. I think
not so Enzo.
Not so Enzo.